Right, in this video, I want to talk about there's two Japanese phrases, mind like the moon and mind like water. Now, okay, the Japanese phrases, but they apply to any martial art. It's not just a Japanese thing. They apply equally to anything that you do. So, first of all, what does it mean, mind like the moon? Okay, basically, when the moon's up there and the moonlight shining down on the earth, the moonlight shines equally on everything. The moon, basically, from its position up in the sky, the moon can see everything. Okay? Now, that's what we want when we're facing an opponent, when we're confronted by somebody. We want to see everything about that opponent. We want to see their psychological game when they're threatening us, taunting us, trying to intimidate us. We want to be able to see, understand their game, what they're trying to do. And again, that's part of what we covered in the reality-based module earlier on. We want to have an idea if they're trying to conceal something from us, like are they carrying a weapon? Do they kind of suddenly move their hand towards their back pocket to take something out? Did they have a mate with them? Has that mate suddenly snuck around the back, out of vision? Are they trying to conceal something from us? And their intention. What is their intention? They may start off with the intention of picking a fight with us. After a few minutes talking, they may decide, oh, well, this guy's a bit more difficult than we realized, and I'll move on, and their intention changes. Or they may kind of decide, like, okay, this guy's a victim, I'm going to go for it. And we want to know when their intention is to actually make a move. Now, when it comes to picking up their intention, we're looking at things like their breathing. Okay, does the breathing change? Because usually before someone attacks you, they normally breathe in. So there's a before they move. Okay, so there's a slight difference in their breathing. An inhalation, or the bigger inhalation than normal. Is there a slight tensing up of their body? Is there a slight body shift? Okay, or shift in their body weight? All these things will kind of give their intention away. Okay, but so that's mind like the moon, seeing everything, seeing their psychological game, seeing their intention, and of course, obviously, seeing their techniques when they throw things at us. If they throw kicks and punch or try and grab us, it's seeing everything that they do. Now, how do we actually achieve seeing everything? Okay, because it's easy to say, like, that's what it is, but how do you actually do it? And this is one thing that's not explained, or I haven't found it explained in very many places very well. Now, there's two parts of it, obviously, actually seeing their physical movements, and that they're being able to kind of see things physically. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you an exercise that I do with my club, which helps to actually visibly take in all the information around you. Because as we discussed earlier on, when looking at realities of violence, when someone's threatening you, you tend to get tunnel vision. You tend to focus on just what's in front of you. So how do you see things that are happening around? How do you see the whole body of the attacker? How do you pick up that subtle shift in body weight when you're just focused in, focusing on the person in front of you? So yes, we have an exercise that we do for that, which I'll talk about later. But the other thing that you need is a clear mind, okay, which is very, very important. And that is what most of this module is talking about, how to achieve a clear mind so that you can see, or just have an intuition, have a feeling about what the person is doing or about to do. Okay, this is why I'm talking about this section first, because it's the rest of the module is very much geared around this need to have a clear mind and see what the person is doing. Okay, now it helps to have an understanding of how the conscious and the subconscious mind work together. So first of all, the subconscious mind takes in an enormous amount of information about your surrounding environment. Okay, if you stepped out on the road, you look down the road, your subconscious mind would know how many cars are there. Your conscious mind doesn't need to know how many cars are there. Your conscious mind just needs to know, is there a car coming down the road? If so, and you want to cross the road, if so, I just need to be aware of the car that's coming down the road to make sure I don't pass and get run over. I just need to know that there's a car coming. When it's past me, I need to know it's safe to cross the road. I don't need to know how many cars are parked either side. Okay? Your subconscious, you can look at a tree. Your subconscious mind will probably know how many leaves are on that tree. It takes in such a vast amount of information. You don't need to know that. Okay? Or your conscious mind doesn't need to know that. So we have what we call the reticular activation system, which is a part of your mind that cuts out information that it deems unnecessary for you to know on a conscious level. Otherwise, your conscious mind will constantly be overloaded with information that you don't need. Sometimes the reticular activation system gets it wrong. Like you may have had the experience where you're looking for your car keys, for example, and you can't find them anywhere. Then someone says, "Oh, there they are on the table," and you think, "How the hell did I miss that?" So sometimes the reticular activating system gets it wrong, and it decides you don't need that information, and it blocks it from your conscious mind. Okay, so I say sometimes it gets it wrong, but when you're facing an opponent and you've got all this information coming in at you, now I've just mentioned that before somebody goes to attack you, very often they breathe in. Okay, now you might not have known that on a conscious level. On a subconscious level, you will know that. Okay, so your subconscious level will pick up all these little signs, all these little signals, all these little subtleties. You may not even know consciously what is happening, but subconsciously, your subconscious mind knows that something is happening or something's about to happen. And the subconscious mind can't communicate directly with your conscious mind. The way the subconscious communicates with the conscious mind is by a feeling, an instinct, an intuition. I mean, that's how we normally call it, intuition. We just get this feeling that something's about to happen. You don't know how you know it's going to happen. You've got no idea why you know or how you know, but you just know something's going to happen. Yeah? And the way we get this intuition is basically by having a quiet mind. We quieten the conscious mind so the conscious mind can hear the feelings or the messages that's been sent to it by the subconscious mind. Yeah? So this is why it's very, very important to have a clear and quiet conscious mind. If your conscious mind is thinking like, "Oh my God, he's bigger than me. Oh God, I'm going to get killed. Oh, I'm a black belt. If I get beaten up by this guy, everyone knows I'm a black belt. I'm going to be so embarrassed in front of all my mates if they find out about this." And when your conscious mind is thinking these things, it cannot hear or be aware of the feelings that are sent to it by the subconscious mind. I mean, this is why, going back to mind like the moon, with the moonlight shining down, fears, doubts, nervousness, they're like clouds. They're like clouds blocking out the moonlight. The moonlight doesn't reach the earth, and so the moon can't see everything, right? So we need this clear mind. Okay, that is really, really important. When we do have this clear mind and we can pick up thoughts, we can kind of get the feelings from the subconscious mind, and we can kind of like intuitively know what's going to happen, then we can kind of react automatically. Now this is where the next phrase comes in, mind like water. Okay, If you've got a stream of water running down, okay, and you stick your hand in the stream of water, the water doesn't stop there and think about it for a few minutes and then say, oh, I'll go around that way or that way. You stick your hand in the water just straight around it automatically. It doesn't stop. It just moves around it. Okay? It reacts automatically to the situation without any delay, without any thought, without any intellectual process. It just happens. It just round it. Okay? Bruce Lee very famously said, be like water. Okay? Now, part of be like water is having a relaxed body so that, the body moves fluidly and moves fast. Part of be like water or mind like water is having a relaxed mind. So the relaxed mind, the conscious mind receives the intuition, the feeling, the intuition, and it can react instinctively and intuitively to the attack that's coming to it. Now, if you've got to stop and think like, oh, he's pulling his hand back to punch me, I think I need to do a rising block followed by a reverse punch, or whatever. By the time you've thought that, you've been hit, it's too late. Okay? Having a thought process has to be taken out when you're looking at, if you're in a dangerous situation against a dangerous opponent, thought process has to be taken out and the response, the physical response, has to be intuitive, has to be automatic. Okay? Now, some of you, if you've been in, so we say, a competition and you've been fighting for a little while and you got a little bit tired, sometimes this process kind of kicks in automatically. Have you ever had a situation where maybe you've been in a competition or something like that, and you come out afterwards and somebody says to you like, "Oh, that combination was really good. Uh, that roundhouse kick and punch combination was really good," and you think, "I don't remember doing that." Okay. Sometimes you do something on autopilot and you can't quite remember it afterwards, but people are saying, "Oh, that was really good what you did." Now, that happens sometimes because you quieten the conscious mind, you let the subconscious mind take over and control you and control your reactions and control that automatic reaction, and things just happen. And because you're letting the subconscious do its business, then the conscious mind switches off and doesn't always remember what's happened afterwards, not quite in such clear detail. And that actually tends to be when you do some of your best work. Sometimes it kicks in best when you're a little bit tired. If you've been fighting for a while, and then the mind tends to kind of like, all the blood goes into your limbs, and the blood goes away from the conscious mind, as we discussed in the reality-based or the reality of violence section. Blood goes away from your conscious mind. Then you react unconsciously, and when you react unconsciously, it's more automatic, it's faster, it's more fluid, it's more effective. Yeah. So it's quite a strange parody. It's a strange way of looking at it. But it actually works. It's about removing your conscious control and relying on your unconscious mind to choose the appropriate response to the attack that's coming in. Because if you've got to stop and think like, oh, he's punching with his left hand, therefore I've got to use my right hand to block it, or he's punching with his right hand, so I've got to use my left hand to... By the time you thought that, it's too late. You just need to sort of pick it up. You need the mind like the moon to see what's happening, and as soon as it's happening, let your subconscious mind, the mind like water, you need the subconscious mind to choose the appropriate reaction, the appropriate response, and bang, bang, it's happened. And you haven't even consciously thought about it, it's just happened. Okay? Like I say, very often it kicks in more when you're tired, and sometimes you don't even remember quite what you've done. Okay? So that's mind like the moon and mind like water, and that is very, very key to the rest of this module. Okay? Now, we're going to take you over now to the dojo, and I'm going to show you an exercise that I do to help you to actually see on a physical level what's actually happening. Okay? So thank you very much, and we'll see you in the dojo. Right, this exercise is basically for your eyes. Rather, it's not so much a blocking punching exercise, it's for your eyes. Because sometimes people say, look him in the eyes. Now, if I'm looking Keith in the eyes, we're looking each other in the eyes, and one person kicks, you don't see it coming. Okay, you want to be able to see the whole person at the same time. Now, kind of the way you do this is like if you think when you're driving or if you're on your bike, okay, as you're driving along, you tend to let the eyes go into a peripheral vision. You relax the eyes, they dilate, you go into peripheral vision, and you can see everything around you. And then maybe you see somebody step off the road and you kind of like focus in on the kind of threat. When you realize, okay, they've stopped, it's safe, you go back to the road and you go into this peripheral vision. And when you're in this peripheral vision, if I say it right, with your eyes dilated, you can kind of more or less see everything around you. So if I'm facing Joe, I don't want to just look in his face and see his face and his arms. I want to be able to see his legs as well. If I know he's a good kicker and I'm looking at his legs, you know, because he's a good kicker, I'm going to miss the punches. So you want to be able to look at everything. So what I'm going to ask you two gentlemen to do, just get in the front stance. Okay, just step forward, take a punch just the side of my head, both of you. Okay, a little bit closer. Okay, that's your distance. Okay, step back. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to punch at random. I'm going to go into my peripheral vision so I can see both of you out of the corner of my eye. So if I look at Keith, I'm going to get a smack in the back of the head from Joe. If I look at Joe, I'm going to get a smack in the back of the head from Keith. So I'm going to keep on looking directly that way, and if you punch completely at random. Okay, and Jamai, thank you. Okay, so at the peripheral vision, I could pick them up as soon as they start to move. And again, this is not an exercise for blocking and punching. This is an exercise to train your eyes to take in all the information around you. So if I can take in both of them at that kind of angle, then when I'm facing somebody, I can surely take in his legs and his arms and see everything that's coming in at me at the same time. Okay, so that's the point of the exercise. Okay, thank you. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please leave us a like and a comment below. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps our ratings on YouTube. So thank you.